Well, the prices of wheat have been rising this week as fighting between Russia and Ukraine is continuing. China and a delegation from the African Union are working on a possible political solution to the conflict. Soaring wheat prices also worsened this week because of an attack on a dam, the Kakhovka Dam, in a region of Ukraine that is controlled basically part by Ukrainians and sections of it by the Russians. Let's talk about the impact and implications for wheat prices with Dawie Maree, FNB's agricultural economist. Dawie, a very good afternoon to you. Grateful for your time. Let's explain this for a moment then for people who are just catching up to the story, why an attack on a dam in Ukraine would have implications for wheat prices.
Good afternoon, Temekile. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Look, South Africa imports more or less 50% of our wheat consumption. We don't produce enough wheat locally. The Ukraine and Russia are both two big players in the international market for wheat, and obviously, the exports from the Black Sea area is very important for South Africa as well. We do get a lot of wheat from Argentina and the US, but the Black Sea area is one of our sources as well. And that's why, the Russian war and now the attack on the dam will have an impact on our wheat prices in South Africa. Obviously, our local prices, wheat prices that's being traded on the JSE, on SAFEX, that's a derivative of the international price, and that's why there's a increase in the local wheat price as well.
And when we say wheat prices have gone up, especially within the days since the attack on the Kakhovka Dam, how high have they gone, and are we going to see it trickle down all the way to the till where you and I would be buying wheat products?
Yeah, so it increased by more than 10% over the last couple of days on an international level. But, fortunately, the exchange rate, the rand-dollar exchange rate, have appreciated over the time. We are trading back below the 19 rand per dollar level. So that actually buffered our local increases a lot. We don't expect it to be a long-term increase, that it might be a structural shift. But we can expect that, should it continue, it will filter through. But I think, given the appreciation of the rand, the impact on our local consumers will definitely be less. But it's important for the bread price and obviously for other wheat product prices.
And much of the developing world, many of those countries on the African continent, is reliant, as you were saying earlier, on wheat produce from Ukraine predominantly. Are there alternatives? Are there places we could look to plug the hole?
Yeah, places like Argentina and Brasilia are countries that we can consider. The only problem is that they are in the same hemisphere as us. So if we have El Nino that is being expected now with a more probability, those countries will also be affected negatively. And then, if we can't get enough from Argentina or Brazil, then we have to look at the United States for our imports, or otherwise some of the European countries, the Western European countries that can also supply wheat to the African continent.
Right.
The best alternative actually will be to produce enough wheat in Africa to make sure that we can fulfill our demands.
And how quickly would we be able to get that sort of thing going at mass scale?
No, that will take time. We need to commercialize agriculture in Africa. We need to increase our yields, yield per hectare, to make sure that we get up to that level. But that will take some time. It will definitely not be a 1 or 2 year thing that we can say, okay, yes, we are self-sufficient. We know that, countries, obviously South Africa are a big player, but countries like Zambia have already been developed out the agricultural sector where they can produce wheat as well.
Long term, how much should we be concerned about some forecasts, some analysis that suggest, in fact, that the damage caused to this dam, which basically flooded parts of Ukraine, may in fact interfere with land fertility? Is that a real long-term risk by your assessment?
Yeah, that is a long-term risk. It depends on how quickly the floodwaters will subside, obviously. But I think the damage to infrastructure is also important. If we look, and we've heard reports that some silos have been affected by the flooding. So that will obviously over the year term have an impact. But I think, if the floodwaters subside quickly, they can get back on track in terms of wheat production. But then it will depend on rain-fed or rain-fed wheat production, because that specific dam in Kakova was also a very important one for irrigation. So we can expect that the yields will be down in Ukraine and Russia over the foreseeable future.
All right, Dawie, Maree, FNB agricultural economist. A pleasure to speak to you. Thank you.